Are live. Welcome to the Nerd Den. How you doing? I'm going to talk a little lower because I'm in my dining room and my air conditioner blew out. So it's a 20-year-old air conditioner. So we're getting it replaced. We'll have a new one by next Thursday, hopefully. In the meantime, my home is like fucking on fire. So, and not literally, thankfully, but it's very warm in here. So apologies for the echo and the less than stellar backdrop, but we're here. So there you go. Hi guys, how you doing? Hi Zach.
Hey, how's it
How are
going?
you?
I am styling. I'm about 3 days away from a very invasive, from a somewhat invasive surgical procedure, and
Good.
my stomach is finally back to normal. And I just gotta say, that propofol is a hell of a drug.
Yes.
Also, I got some
Yeah.
cool stuff to tell you.
Oh, good. I can't wait. Cool stuff is always welcome. Avery, how you doing, man? You're here, so that's good.
Yeah. I'm alive.
That's awesome. You're live, which is always good.
I have doubts about that, but yeah, okay.
Well, what's the old saying? The only thing worse than getting old is not getting old.
I find it acceptable.
Fair enough. Anyway, happy Friday, everybody. I'm sure Andrew will be along any minute. He's already pinged. He's coming soon. So, like I said, we'll have one weekend. We'll have one Friday where it'll be a little off because of this. And then, oh, look who's here. Look who the cat dragged in. Hold on. Hello, Andrew.
Can you guys see me? What the hell's going on with
No.
my picture?
I don't know. You look dark.
Hold on a second. Let me see if I can figure
Yeah.
out. I don't know what happened. I was just.
Is there something? Yeah, is there something over your? It looks like a setting, or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I can see a shape, but you look better this way.
Let me see if I can figure it out.
MK says your OnlyFans went awry.
Yeah. It
That's
looks
what
like
happens.
yeah.
There you
It looked like there was no light.
Yeah, I just switched cameras and then switched it back, and it's fine.
Right
How y'all
on.
doing?
How's it going?
It's weird that works so many times with peripherals.
Yeah.
Yeah, the computer just forgets. Like, oh yeah, it works this way. You got to like unplug it and replug it in, and all of a sudden it'll start working. And computers. But hey, let's really advance artificial intelligence. How can that go wrong?
Yes.
And it will.
It totally will.
Like, have you seen
Hey.
the videos of the robots going berserk?
I've seen one or two. I don't know if I've seen like the one.
There's been a couple. Like they're making these like robots built like people, and they're working on it and programming it, and all of a sudden it just goes absolutely haywire berserk.
That's awesome.
Think about
is that the one where it starts like attacking people and shit?
Yeah.
Like in a crowd.
Yeah. And there's the ones that they were working on while they were just working on it. It did it too. It's like hanging up in this little rig, and it just goes berserk. So, what do you think's going to happen once they go? Hey, we've got one of these that can run around on its own really well. Let's put ChatGPT 2000 in it. Oh,
yeah. Wait until they have shoulder cannons that can make decisions.
Yeah, and they're working on that.
I just love how we live in a time when it's like people looked at like Terminator and they're just like, yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, we've literally got the Matrix and Terminator happening at the same time. They were meant to be entertainment, but they're prophecies. Mm-hmm. They're becoming prophecies.
Yeah, it's like an instruction manual. It's like, oh, like I keep waiting for. I mean, I'm telling. Well, you know what's scary? Here's what's scary. You want to know what's scary? Is you look at all the movies and you're like, and all the sci-fi crap, and it turns out to be an instruction manual between Terminator with the robots now and the AI, and what was the one with Tom Cruise and the predictive
Minority Report.
Minority Report. There's actually a legitimate company that does that now, and that has technology with AI that does that. My big fear is, there's another movie out there called, a couple movies, a couple franchises. One's named Alien and the other's named Predator.
Yeah.
So I'm a little worried that that's a little bit of predictive programming too. You know what I mean?
Yes. Probably. But right now we've got this wonderful mix of Terminator, The Matrix, and 1984 all going on at the same time. And it's like, this is horrifying.
Yeah, well, how many fans of these things are out there and would love to see them come true? There's a wacky, crazy scientist out there that loves the idea of a zombie apocalypse, and he's working on it right now.
They probably already have something like that in one of these labs that is that bad. They're good, because they have this, like The Last of Us. It's fungus, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a fungus that does that to bugs. So somebody's probably messing with that in a lab, trying to get it to jump to humans.
I'm sure. It wouldn't surprise me.
Speaking of aliens, has anybody watched the first 2 episodes of Aliens Earth?
No one wants to watch that.
I haven't. I'd like to, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, let Zach talk about what he wanted to. He
Zach
never talks.
Zach had a topic. Yeah.
Well,
Are we already at the end? I didn't realize.
No.
Oh my God! Shut up.
Be a dick, Andrew. Go for it, Zach. You have the floor.
Okay. Well, I'm going to share my screen.
Okay.
And okay, let's go. Let's do this.
Make sure your Pornhub tab is closed.
Oh, trust me, my porno tab is very, very closed. I don't want to get arrested by the FBI.
All right.
I just like the way Andrew covers his face when I say that. No. Trust me, I'm
Yeah, you're being judged by the furry.
all I have to say is that when it comes to that part of my internal life, it's a lot more boring than you might think. Although on the other hand, my definition of boring might be different than yours, and we'll leave it at that. Okay.
Avery, in all my history of porn searches, I have never once looked up furry porn.
I know, it's a joke because you draw Anthro.
All right, guys. So basically, as part of a massive revamp of pretty much every book I have, I basically got to work generating new images, both for the books and for the ad campaigns to run them. And what I ended up doing actually was, I believe the actual. Let me pull it up on my. So basically, I know, Todd, you're not a big fan of Midjourney anymore, but for my purposes, it works.
I like Midjourney. I like Midjourney fine.
Yeah. So what I did was, for all of these, I basically did a variation of. Well, the query was sword and sorcery, fantasy book cover, magical, energetic, some other stuff, heroic, epic, in the style of Alphonse Mucha.
Oh yeah, of course.
Who was basically a big Art Nouveau artist back at the turn of the 20th century, and he did a lot of posters.
Mm-hmm.
And, I remember back in the 90s, there was a trend where there were a lot of covers that kind of followed an Art Nouveau style.
Oh yeah, it was Joe Quesada and Adam Hughes were big into it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm talking about like just regular novel covers, but I also remember seeing it in comic books as well. Like a lot, there were comic book covers. I remember seeing one with Wonder Woman that looked like it had been painted by Alphonse Mucha at one point. So I was wondering if he did.
Adam Hughes.
Yeah, it was just beautiful.
Yeah, it was probably Adam Hughes because he did a lot of that.
So basically, I've learned that basically when it comes to Midjourney, trying to get it to refine a single image is basically like a waste of time, because it's an act of frustration unless you've got 5 or 6 hours to keep refining a single damn query, and even then it always throws in one little extra detail that just throws shit off. So I just put together like a basic query. It just kept spamming it 5 or 6 times, until you got a whole bunch of images, and This is one that I'm actually didn't end up using, but this is the one I actually did use for a book cover.
That's cool.
I like the way this came out, although like the weird lettering at the top didn't really work. But yeah, Midjourney's gotten better with the fingers now. I mean, it's not that noticeable anymore unless you're really.
You can Photoshop all that stuff out too. Like if you don't like it.
Yeah, I didn't because it's a tiny little image on Amazon. Who's going to notice? Besides, every author out there will deny it, but they're all using AI images now for their covers.
Yeah.
There's another one.
Yeah, that looks great.
Yeah, the hands are perfect that way. All near enough. I mean, this is actually one I use for an actual book cover. I like the way this came out, although the sword's a little much, but if you read the book, it actually makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's another book cover I use. Yeah. This is perfect because the name of the novel is Shadow of the Ghost Bear. So, this is like totally random. It's like, holy shit! It actually threw up bears onto this, which is good for the title. Didn't really like this one, but I ended up using it anyway because, believe it or not, one of my books there's actually a gorilla wizard, so this kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's just one of the images that was a reject. Didn't like the way that came out, but another one. Oops, sorry. Yeah.
That looks good too.
Yeah, the sword didn't work though for me. I mean,
I got a quick question for you, Zach. MK says, I keep putting descriptions of book characters, but they never seem to come out right. Which ones are you using again?
Okay. So this is one that I'm using for the books. I mean, look. Awesome. So here's the thing. If you're using AI, what I've learned is that if you want to look like a specific book character, you're better off using like a local install of what is Midjourney run off of again? It's like like you using like a local install on your computer, because then you can then you can sort of have more control over it because on your computer, and even then you're still gonna be running it in Photoshop. What I did was I just had to spam out a bunch of images, and I grabbed ones that sort of looked like the characters, because truth be told, you don't need so this is something I actually learned. You remember all those classic Conan the Barbarian covers that Frank Frazetta did back in the 60s and 70s? When basically they relaunched the character, they relaunched. So what happened was that after Robert E. Howard died, I mean, he was basically like a minor author in his time. He was a pulp writer. No one cared about him. His work only survived because he had friends, who basically kept reprinting his stuff. I think there was a press set up to actually do. There was like one press, I think, that actually reprinted Robert E. Howard, H.P. Lovecraft, and a bunch of other authors from that time. And then in the 60s, when fantasy kind of started coming back, I think Del Rey Books began reprinting all the old Howard stories and commissioning new ones from other authors. And they hired Frazetta to do them, and Frazetta never read the books. He asked him about it later. Where did you get the inspiration? Did you read the books to get the inspiration for those covers? He never read any of them. He just he might read a description of it and then just like paint what he felt. And when it was on the book covers, had nothing to do with what was inside. And it didn't, and it really didn't matter, because it was those book covers, just the sheer appearance of them, I got people to buy them, and then they read them, and it didn't matter that the book covers didn't look anything like it. As long as it has the same feel, the same general idea, the same general theme as the book inside, you should be okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and the thing is, when I go into like bookstores today, you guys have heard of Romantasy, right? Kind of like the like romance and fantasy. That's kind of like basically fairy porn. That's called nowadays. You've heard about it, right? Well,
about what?
Have you guys heard of Romantasy?
Yeah. I mean, from you.
Yeah. So the thing is, it's look, it's the big seller right now. More power to them. I mean, they're if you can get an audience to read that stuff, hey, more power to you. But what really bothers me about those books whenever I pop into a bookstore nowadays is I'm looking at the covers and I'm thinking, yeah, these covers, they're just so unimaginative. They're primary colors, blue, red, or green covers with the titles in big bold lettering, and maybe some weird Celtic symbols in the background. And I'm thinking to myself, this is so boring. now, and you know, I mean, women are reading them, so great. But I'm thinking, you know, you have you with books like these, you have an opportunity to really do something really romantic and kind of out there to grab people's attention, and you just like putting up stuff that's blah. I mean, the cover, you know, with books, with comics, is the same. The cover sells the book. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't like the way this one came out. I mean, that's this is sort of similar to what my character's like, but he's not that fishy. So yeah, this is like that's
Cool.
super. Yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing, bud.
Yeah, I got more. So yeah, I thought about this one, but again, the sword.
These are cool.
Yeah. So these are all Alphonse Mucha. I'm gonna actually use that one for an ad. I like the way that one came out.
Yeah, I'll add for MK, if in terms of putting descriptions of book characters, like you probably want to do like a style reference, like actually uploading an image of something that you might find interesting, and then when you do that, because Midjourney. One of the reasons I don't like Midjourney, I do like it. I think it's great, but the reason I don't use it so much anymore in production is because it's so turfed that like I can't, like I used to be able to get a style that I would want by just saying, oh, kind of like this cross with that, and be like, okay, here you go. And now I can't. It's so turfed that it doesn't, like, it won't do it. Like they've blocked it thoroughly.
It does work for me, but only because I'm picking references for people who are already in the public domain.
Yeah.
For example, if I used my go-to reference was always this is the same one. This is the same one, but for some reason it came out looking like a Disney still.
Mm.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. And how do I use in that one? I mean, that one looks good. That looks like something from an old heavy metal comic. But
right on.
Could make it work. All right. That's it. I'm done there. But yeah, no, awesome. It's like the problem I had is that my go-to reference was always like Michael Whelan, who was like a big time fantasy author, but he's still alive, he's still active. And Midjourney and other AIs, they've just got so much flack from like existing authors who are basically saying they're ripping off their copyright that you really can't, like, they're basically nerfing the a lot of the things now. I mean, you can, and so you really have to like pick your parameters carefully. You know, like, so for example, if I say like do a cover in the style of Michael Whelan or Jim Lee, you'll get something that sort of looks like it, but it won't have the same effect. Or I don't know if it's still the case with comics, but I think they're and also, and of course, forget about anything that's even remotely suggestive, because they're just so afraid of people using them for porn that even now that, you know, you can get away with it. I mean, it's just, So, but for someone like me, I mean, look, I'm not an artist. I'm a writer, and the thing that I like about AI is that it used to be the way it used to be. When I started, the way it worked was you would get, if you'd write the book. The cover sells the book. There were, in the early days, and you still see some of this with people who are just really, really, really cheap and really, really stupid, is that you would learn Photoshop skills, and you basically try to, like, you put together your own cover on it, and it never looked good. I mean, it was obviously like, homemade. It was like you might as well just like drawn with crayon. But that's what you could that's what you could do. Then after a while, there were artists that you could go on Patreon. There were the artists who would do book covers. The people people out in the Ukraine before the war. Ukraine was a big spot for that. But now the war's happening, so who knows? And you spend like $30 to $40 for a cover, which is a lot. Which is like, given the exchange rate, that's probably a pretty decent wage over there. But it wasn't a custom cover. What they would do is you would basically you would pick a photo from iStock or Getty or whatever, and you would tell them kind of what you want, and they would just basically like mock, tart it up in Photoshop to like give it the same idea. And some of the effects were really, really good. I mean, some of those covers I got from them were really good. But the problem is that there's only so many really, especially if you're in the fantasy field. only so many images out there that are really suitable.
Mm-hmm.
So after a while, you start seeing the same sort of book covers over and over and over. Particularly if you're pulling from free archives, like from like I forget what it's called, but there are free image repositories out there, and so after a while you start seeing a lot of the same books using the same images.
Mm-hmm.
So AI, I mean, I'm sorry to take like work from hardworking artists in Eastern Europe, but AI for someone like me really saved my bacon, because what I'm showing, the book covers I'm showing you now, if I were to hire an actual artist to do that, looking like what, I don't know, like $10,000 for a custom cover in Art Nouveau style. That's basically brush painted. I mean, if with an American artist, I don't know, it's like, would it be like 10 grand for an American artist? I mean, if you reach out overseas, it might be cheaper, but even so, you're looking at like $2,000 or $3,000, and for an independently published book that's
there are people you could get to paint it for $2,000 or $3,000 or maybe $1,000.
Yeah, the thing is though, is that if you don't have $2,000 or $3,000, you're stuck.
Yeah, no, it's still expensive.
So for me, AI, despite its limitations, and I have enough Photoshop skill to take the raw images and kind of like work around the deficiencies. Like for example, if one of the limbs looks weird, you just like you generate variations until like the limbs in an area that can be like pushed out of frame or covered up with a letter or something. So I got enough skill to do that, and I'm able to generate covers that, let's be honest, are near professional grade.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think it's awesome, man. And I mean, I'm really glad to see. I mean, your book covers are really cool. So I think it's really neat to see.
Well, the thing is, and this is what people have to, like, I hate to say it, but book readers, comic book readers, whatever, they can be superficial. You got to have a good cover. I mean, I've actually had a bump in sales with those covers, because if you go on Amazon, you look at like fantasy novels and sci-fi novels, romance novels, they all have that same cinematic look now. Kind of like very like movie poster style, very very like cinematic, almost realistic, or else they're sort of like anime exaggerated. So they all kind of blend together. So I find that like they're using an Art Nouveau style like that, it does stand out. You want to stand out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like with the Beatles' White Album. They just had a white cover. It stood out. So yeah, I mean, look, it works for me. I mean, next step is I'm actually going to be using AI to to assist me in writing a series of books. So that's going to be a lot of interesting. I'm trying to figure out a way to do it, but I mean, there is a way to do it, but I haven't really tested it yet. So we'll see. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys. Unless you want a long and graphic description of the surgical procedure I had on Tuesday, and
that's good.
They gave me photos.
Afterward. So I've got a couple of comics I wanted to share with you guys.
Go for it. All right, I'm going mute now, guys. Okay,
because one
of my cats is making noise.
Okay, thanks, Zach.
So, not last week. I think the week before. Crap. Yeah, it was the week before. I'd gotten a bunch of boxes of comics. I had 10 boxes of comics, and then last week I got a couple more, and I'm still going through them. I haven't finished simply because I ran out of bags and boards, and BCW only had the boards in stock, so I ordered boards, and now they just got bags in stock, so I'm waiting for the bags to come. But I had 3 particular comics that I found so far that are kind of cool that I wanted to share with you guys. The first, Todd.
Mm-hmm.
You want to highlight me for a second, and I can.
Yeah, I'm coming.
The first one that I got that I really didn't think was of any significance until I started doing some research on it was Shazam #1 from 1973.
Oh wow!
This is currently like $100 book that I got in a collection. Shazam, or Captain Marvel, as he was originally known. He has a really nice looking copy. Was originally published by Fawcett back in the 40s. And they did a licensing agreement with DC in the 70s to republish some of his older stories and create new ones. And this was one of the issues the first issue that introduced Captain Marvel Jr., Miss Marvel, or whatever her name was, the girl version, and Dr. Sylvania. So this is like the first appearance, the first modern appearance of all those characters. And so it's actually a significant issue. They hadn't been published prior to this since 1954. So 20 years later, this came out from DC. Now, I was doing a little bit of research on this to share with you guys, and the thing I think is very funny is the title. It says, with one magic word, Shazam, the original Captain Marvel. And it is said the original Captain Marvel up through issue number 14. Issue number 15, it switched over to oh crap, I forgot. I was just looking at it. The Mightiest Mortal or whatever. The World's Mightiest Mortal, because of a cease and desist letter from Marvel in regards to the catch line, the original Captain Marvel. So they actually folded and took it off the cover with issue number 15. But still, it's a really nice looking book. Not a bad
that's awesome.
pickup, you know. The next one I got is kind of silly, but a guy came in and he had a stack of comics, and some of them were like really nothing important at all, really dumb stuff. And I offered him a couple of bucks and he took it. And when I was going through it, there were several Thunder Bunny issues in there from Charlton Comics, including Charlton's Bullseye #1. Actually, no, this is Charlton Bullseye #6, the first appearance of Thunder Bunny, who, of course, is not any type of in-demand character or anything, but it is his first appearance in comics.
That's cool.
So, yeah.
That's really cool.
Another one that came up was Ash #1 from Event Comics.
Signed.
And you might notice that it's signed in the corner by Joe Quesada and down at the bottom by Jimmy Palmiotti.
Yeah, that's great.
So still kind of a cool thing to find in a collection of comics. But I'm still going through the boxes, still looking for some stuff. But I'm thoroughly happy with the collections I got so far. It's just weird. Some people will come in and they think their comics are very, very valuable, and they're really not. It's really hard to tell people that because they don't seem to get it. But I had a kid that came in last week near the end who had a small stack of comics, and I went through them all, and I made him an offer, and he took it. And actually, I made him an offer, and he said, "Oh, well, I might want to keep this one instead." And I said, "Okay, that's fine." But I came back out of that with actually, let me show them to you. Let me show everything I got in that set. I forgot. You know, I have stacks and stacks over here of stuff. That yeah. So the three big ones that were in the set, all of these aren't in great condition. Some of them just really need good pressing. But we've got Amazing Spider-Man #114, which actually looks really nice. It's not a key really issue or anything, but it looks really nice. This was one of 3 that were actually worth some money.
That's a John Romita Sr., yeah?
I don't know. I'd have to open it up and look, but probably. The next one, this is actually the one where if it guides well, if it grades well, and it presses and all, this may be worth the entire collection. This is Avengers #54.
Ooh.
This is the first cameo appearance of Ultron.
Really?
As well as yep. He actually appears in like one of the very last pages.
Now, is it considered a cameo or is it a first appearance?
It's considered his first appearance, but there's the panel right there where he takes off his mask and he reveals that it's a robot. Which,
and that's John Buscema, yeah?
I don't think they named him.
No.
In this, but that's why.
Who drew that? Who drew the book? Is it Buscema?
I'm getting there. Let's see. Yep, John Buscema.
Damn it.
That's a really pretty book too.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, it's old, it's beat up, it's been well loved and well read, but it does have significance. I'm going to hold that one to the end. There's Incredible Hulk number 158, which is a decent book. It's like a $10
That's
book.
pretty cool looking. Yeah.
This is Fantastic Four number 54. It's very worn and used, but it's the third appearance of the Black Panther.
Mm.
Next up is Falcon and Captain America versus the X-Men.
That's cool.
Bad part about this book, it's maybe a $10 book too, but the collector stamp had been cut out of this one. Now, some of the DC ones that I have are really, really beat up, but I still like them. This is Flash issue number 206. Just got a really fun cover. 24 hours of immortality. Now, you won't believe I can't die. This is a Superboy one where he's blind.
That's
got
awesome.
A nice crypto on the cover. These two Green Lanterns are really nice. They're beat to hell, but still, these are really nice looking covers. These, if I graded them, they would be great. They would probably come in a very low grade, but they just look good being preserved, and that's probably why I would do it. Mm-hmm. This is another one.
That's pretty cool.
Somebody wrote their name on it and so forth, but whatever. This is one that the guy just threw in just simply because there's such a big rip out of the cover. It's just a Adventures Comics featuring Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes. This one I thought was a really nice looking Daredevil, issue number 49. Avery knows who it is. I'm just blanking on the name.
Gene Colan,
but it's like the spine's all separated and all, so it kills the value of it.
Sounds like a reader copy I should buy.
Sounds like a reader copy. It'll just end up in your hands at some point. And last but not least, this is a early Amazing Spider-Man. It is very, very beat up and worn, but it's issue number 30 of Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh wow.
So it's
that's an awesome cover.
Really early looking one.
Is it Ditko?
It might be. Did he do up to issue 30? He probably did.
I don't know. I can double check.
I know when Senior went on, they wanted him to draw like Ditko.
Yeah, it might be a Senior.
It might be Senior or late Ditko.
I like how Andrew is going to look it up on his computer as opposed to opening up and just looking at the comic.
That's just the way it goes, my friend. That's just the way it goes.
I know. I understand.
Nope. Steve Ditko, interior artist and cover artist.
Wow.
Cool.
Yep. If it was a near mint issue, it would be a $350 book. It is not near mint. It's well loved and well beaten up, but
it still might be a $50 book.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest with you, have you ever held an issue 30 of Amazing Spider-Man?
No, never.
So
never. I don't think any of the shops I've ever been in regularly even have an issue of Amazing Spider-Man that old.
Well,
in their back issues.
The guy at the flea market that has the other store at the flea market has an issue number 1. I actually know the guy that's buying it from him. He's selling it for $7,000.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's like I think it's graded, and it's like a 1 or a 0.5 or something. It's crazy, but
being what that is, it might be worth getting it graded just to sell it for like $60-$70.
Yep.
Because you don't even beat up ones. You don't see those first few years of and think about issue 30. That's in the third year of Amazing Spider-Man.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What's really funny is the fact that I've been told there are people out there that look for low grade older comics like 0.5s and 1s.
That way they can actually have it.
They can afford them. Exactly.
Like I can't afford Amazing Spider-Man number 1, but if I found like a beat up copy that was still intact and someone sold it for like $100 or something, which you could still get more than that for it, but still That's how I have like my oldest issue of X-Men. I think I have like, not the first time they did the original X-Men fighting Frankenstein. They reprinted it later.
Right.
But it's still the original X-Men book title. It hasn't become Astonishing X-Men or Uncanny X-Men. It's still the Jack Kirby. I have that issue where they reprinted the Frankenstein story.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought up because it was a beat up copy. I could afford it.
Well,
yeah, so that's pretty smart.
That totally makes sense.
I think one of my oldest like mainstream comics I have is like Avengers number 29. It's a really early issue. It's all beat to hell, but it's still nice.
Yeah, if it's still intact, man, that's just how normal people can afford these things.
Yes.
Yep.
I know. I've got like issue number, I don't know, like in the 30s of Avengers and issues 50s, something of Fantastic Four, and they're beat to hell. Like they're not worth anything. I don't care. But, like I want to see the color, and I want to see the paper, and I want to see the line work that pops off.
And if the book is still intact, it's just really rough.
Mm-hmm.
They still look cool in a graded case on the wall.
Oh yeah, dude. Of course.
Like the reprinted artwork you see where they reprint the classic artwork on those big poster wooden boards you can hang up, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love those with all the damage and all that.
Yeah,
that look. I have a couple in my studio. I think it looks cool. So if I was able to get X-Men number 1 graded at an affordable price, because it was a 0.5, I would still be happy to have that.
Yeah. Even a 0.5 is still a pretty penny. So
yeah. Or if I could get a good deal on a beat up intact copy and then have it graded myself, that would be worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll tell you one from a collecting perspective, like something that I learned today. Like I got a little upset with myself because I've been redoing the comic collection, and I just went to BCW and got like a bunch of like drawer boxes, right? Like I could like the outer shell, the house for the comics.
Yep.
And the whole time I was like, it looks fine, but like they're stacked now, and like some of them are like off like by an inch or two. Like it's not all flush. And I know I'm anal. Andrew doesn't give a shit about this kind of stuff. But for me, I'm like, why isn't this like really stacked and flush and like it's supposed to look really nice? And it does. It looks okay, but it's not like as pristine and cool as I thought it was going to be. And then literally tonight, I realized that I may have bought the wrong ones. So
it happens. It happens.
I was just like, I'll show it to you because I was like, because I've been calling them, I call them drawer boxes because that's what I know. And I was like, and then I saw, well, I'll show you what I saw first. I saw, let me see. Let me share the screen. I saw this and I was like, that's what I was looking for. Like what? And I was like, why isn't mine, like it's got the design on it. And I'm like, that's what I was hoping for. And well, it's because there's a company that has a thing called drawer boxes. And I went to what I knew and didn't like, I thought I had researched it. I Googled and did some research, but like, this is what I was looking for. And it's like, it's super flush, which I like. And what's even cooler, granted, it's got some problems or whatever. Like this guy's got a million of them. But the interesting thing is that the thing that makes this interesting to me is that, let's see if I can scroll. Basically, because you're stacking like tons and tons and tons of these, right? And what this company did is they actually have in the sides of the box. Let's see if I can find it. If I can scroll through it and find it. They have a couple things that are really interesting. The first is that like they actually have like rails in the inside. Mm-hmm. And so the rails, you can put dividers in there that fit the box. And the reason that's cool is because like me, if I have a box that is only like 20% full, you just put one of those rails in there and it stays nice and flush, right? The other thing that's really inventive that I was like, oh God, like I'm actually like kind of the one thing is like with the BCW stuff, you know, when I'm pulling a box out, I actually kind of have to hold it and pull out because like, you know, I don't want 6 feet of comic boxes to fall on me, right? Because like the weight of pulling that box pulls the whole thing. And so what these guys did, and I was like, oh, son of a bitch, is they have, I know it's in this video, so we'll see it. Hopefully, let's see. There's the house. Well, anyway, even if I can't find it in this video, basically there's like in the side of the box, there's these little holes that are pre-punched, and they have these little plastic clips that clip the boxes together. And so the house boxes are essentially all, there it is. They have these little clips. And so the house boxes are essentially 100% connected to each other so that when you pull one of the drawers out, it's like a drawer. Like it doesn't pull the whole thing down. Right. And I was like, fuck. Cause I spent, you know, I mean, I'm not, you know, it's you know, I bought a lot of these boxes, man. So whatever. I mean, it's too late. I'm not going to worry about it, but it did.
You probably spent a couple $100.
Yeah. And obviously I'm not going to rebuy any of these boxes. I'm not going to, just because I'm tempted to because they're flush and they have these things, but I'm not going to. But what I may end up doing is that once I have everything in order, what I may do is actually model this and drill some holes into the house boxes, and get like some washers or something to do this, because this is what I'm missing, because I'm like, why are these, like when I pull these boxes, it's like I have to hold it and it's hard because I have to pull it out, but then I also have to kind of lean against it so I can pull the box out because I don't want everything to fall on me. Right. So it's a little like, and then again, the number
one is for one of your children to try to pull a box out.
Well, this is true. 100%. I mean, and they're interested in it, and that, you know, and so that's the number one thing. The only thing that I can't really do anything about, and I'm a little upset with BCW, is that like I have all these things stacked, but they're not flush. Like there's a good half inch, quarter inch difference on a lot of these things. Like they changed the measurements or something, and I'm not sure why. So they're not flush, and that drives me nuts. Because again,
Probably because there's different sizes, because comics have changed the size slightly, and they
but I bought different
size.
They don't, because I bought everything together. I bought the whole thing straight, brand new.
Okay, yeah. So you know,
it's just miscut on their cutting machine.
I could see you going out and investing and getting building your own wooden box where each individual box has its own, and have a nice
that's what I wanted originally. Yeah,
the people that make the custom drawers for that stuff are beautiful.
Well, I'll tell you, man,
even the ones for graded comics are real nice too.
Yeah, that's my dream goal. Like if I do well in the next few years, Andrew, you'll be getting about 30 boxes.
So just to go off of something that Avery was saying, there are 5,010 universally graded copies of X-Men #1 from 1963. 2 of them are 9/8. The lowest grade, the 0.5. Guess how many of them there are out there, universal graded, of X-Men #1?
A couple hundred.
259.
Wow.
And people don't care. They still would cherish a 0.5.
Yeah, I would too.
Else. So, and
just
to give you an idea, my buddy that I got back his comics, the McFarlane Spider-Mans, and the grades were all over the board, but his 300 was the lowest grade. It was a 3.5, which, granted, it's still worth a couple $100. And he did it just because it's for his own collection. It was his own original 300. And what's so funny is when we were holding it up and looking at it, there's like a stain like right in the middle of it. He said, "Oh yeah, that was a piece of gum."
Oh God.
At some point, he had a piece of gum stuck to it. but there are
Oh wow.
31,000 universally graded 300s.
Well, you know what's interesting? Here, go ahead.
And
Sorry.
3.5, 95 of them.
Yeah, I was talking to a guy. I was talking to a guy in the Web3 space, a guy named Beanie. I was on like a space that he was on, and we were talking about stuff. And he's without going into Beanie's history because it's kind of crazy, but he's an investor and he's a collector and he's into comics. He's like does comic collecting, but his comic collecting is way different than I've ever heard of. Because I was dropping some stuff, like he didn't know who Diamond was. I was like, "How are you a collector of comics?" And I didn't mean to call him out, but I was like, I didn't think I was trying to call him out, but I was like, "How do you not know what Diamond is if you're a comic collector?" And he's a legitimate comic collector. Like he's like an investor collector. Yeah, MK says Beanie ... grifter. Yeah, he's a special person. But anyway, on the thing of comics, what was interesting is I did find this fascinating. I'd never heard anyone collect this. So I was like, that's interesting. What he does, the way he collects comics, he's not into modern comics and he doesn't know a lot about comics, which is interesting because he's a comic collector, but he's more on the financial side. So he's just like value person, right? So what his play in comics is, MK says special. Yeah, that's a word. I'm trying to be nice, bro. I'm trying to be nice. I will say anyway, the stream, he was fine when I talked to him. The person hosting the stream that was like his partner or something was a real piece of shit. Not Beanie. Beanie was fine, but I didn't like the guy hosting. Anyway, what he does though is he will go and he will look on CGC and he will look for all of, like you're doing right now. He'll look for all the graded comics and he will find the graded comics where there is only a few of them, where there's like less than 100 that are graded. Okay. But that are also old. It's not just any random book. It's like, and so what he'll do is he'll go back and he'll find like that rare Batman issue. It's not Batman #1 or Detective Comics #1 or whatever. And it's not like the first appearance of the Riddler or something, but it's an early issue of Batman that also, which is a character that people are after, right? That also has very low number of books in CGC. And then he'll spend anywhere between $1,000 and $5,000 to buy the book on eBay, knowing that he has one of the rare copies, at least in terms of ones that have been discovered and graded. And so he has his investment strategy. And I was like, honestly, like I thought that was really, I'd never heard that before, but I was like, that makes a lot of sense. So he doesn't have to pay key prices, right? But he's kind of like getting a backlog of all these books that don't exist. Which I just found it fascinating. MK's seething because Beanie's a very controversial figure. Again, I'm being generous.
Have you guys ever felt really weird when you're talking to somebody who obviously knows about comics, but then they don't know something, and you're like, ooh, that's like really common, and you don't know about it.
Well, that's what happened. I called him out. And we were on the space together, and there's 100 people in the space or whatever. And I made a joke about him being, I don't remember what he said. I can't remember, but basically he said something about investing or whatever in the comic thing. And I don't remember what it was. You know what it was is he said he had invested in a comic book, like comic book printing and like in the industry, like he was actually buying, like investing in these companies. And I made the joke, and I'm paraphrasing. I said something along the lines of, "Oh, hey, Beanie, the secret bidder on Diamond confirmed," right? Because we were just talking about that a couple of weeks ago, how there were secret bidders to buy Diamond distributors, right?
Right.
And he and the other people were quiet, and I was like, that joke didn't hit. Like, well, I don't understand what's happening. He was like, yeah, I don't understand that. I don't understand what you said. And I was like, oh, it's a joke. you get Diamond? And he was like, I'm sorry, I'm not really familiar with what Diamond is. Is it a company? And I was like, oh fuck. And so I was like, sorry, too nerdy, my bad. I took it on the chin. I was like, no, it's me. I was like, but I will to MK's because he understands who I'm talking about. It did. I was just like, for all the I was disappointed, right? Because if there's one thing with him that could be interesting is the fact that he's been a really big supporter of comics and Web3. He backed one of the biggest, I mean, they're not that big anymore, but he backed one of the biggest Web3 plays for comics. And he doesn't know jack shit about it. Like he's super hardcore. He's still talking about doing comics and pushing comics and Web3 and all this kind of stuff, but he doesn't know jack shit. So it's obviously he's coming from an investor standpoint, which I respect, but I was shocked that it wasn't more from the fan side, because that seems to be where he plays it off like that's his joy, and his joy is he is a fan. It's just a different fandom than I think I've met. You know what I mean? I know plenty of collectors. I know plenty of collectors of original art and original comics and graded books, but they all know that it's like you don't find many people who collect like the first appearance of the Scorpion or the first appearance of Venom who also don't know Amazing Fantasy 15. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, there's a YouTube channel. There's a YouTube channel that a lot of people I know, a lot of people that come into my store talk about that they watch this particular YouTube channel, and I've watched some of their videos. I'm not fans. I don't subscribe to their channel. I'm not fans, but they're all over the place. They're everywhere. They end up going to conventions a lot. And there was one video I was watching, one of their videos, and they were talking to a retailer at a convention, and the retailer mentioned if I said the name, you would be like, of course I know who that is. You could probably list 20 things the person has done. Well, the retailer said the name, and the guy was like, I have no idea who that is. And I'm like, oh,
the name of the artist?
The artist. And I'm like, dude, for me, your credibility is done.
That's what it was. It was like credibility. I was like, you've pushed this comic thing nonstop so hard for so many years, and you don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
I was like, all of us, I mean, no joke, honestly. And this is like, after that happened, I mean, it was a friendly conversation, whatever. But after that, I was done with the conversation. I was over.
Yeah.
I didn't say another word. I was like, I'm in the wrong room.
And honestly, it might have been age, because we've been doing this for 40 plus years. Well, 35 plus years. Mm-hmm. And I think it might have been something along the line of like the retailer mentioned cross-gen or something.
Oh, sure.
And they were like, I have no idea what that is. And I'm like, okay, but they mentioned an artist, I think. I may have to go back and watch and find.
But wait a minute.
So bad.
Even if you didn't know the artist, even if you're not like super familiar with cross-gen, if you're a retailer, cross-gen's hit your bins. It has to have hit your bins.
Yeah, I know. But I may have not have been cross-gen, but it was something similar to that. And the name, the artist name that got thrown out, that the person was like, I have no idea who that was somebody like a Mark McGuire. Not Mark McGuire. Oh, yeah. What's his name? The guy that did the Brouhaha Justice League, McGuire.
Hey, Andrew.
Weren't
there a bunch of cross-gens in those books I sold you like a couple years ago?
There may have been.
I remember back in the.
That's most every title of that is quarter bin.
Quarter
bin stuff. So.
All right. Well,
really quick. You're good.
I'll let you guys get back to it then.
No, you're good. You're good. Okay, so MK is bringing something out, a little insider irony. For Todd, watching G-Funk distance from Beanie only to rug pull Pixel Vault recently, dude. Like, okay, really quick, and this is why I wish Doc was here tonight. He got a family night, so he can't make it. He couldn't make it tonight. But this is like 100% Nerd Zone. Next time Doc comes in, we're gonna have to talk about this because Pixel Vault. So Andrew Avery, Zach, Pixel Vault was the Web3 comic company that started off as a comic company that Beanie supported and invested in, later it turned out that he had bought he owned 40% of the supply, and anyway, it was a big thing. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. But yeah, so for MK, I tried for 3 years, 2.5, 3 years to meet up with G-Funk and get him into through Comic-Con and to you would think we would be super aligned. I can honestly say Forgotten Runes, a lot of other guys, super easy to get, and super cool. Like Wagme's a good team. Forgotten Runes, those are awesome guys. No problem with these guys at all. But this is my shocked face. He says, I know, dude. Not only was G-Funk not possible. I couldn't, I tried to align to get, he was doing a sushi or a Chinese restaurant sushi crawl or something at NFT NYC for a couple of years. And I tried to get up, I just couldn't do it. I was a big holder, and I'm still unfortunately a big holder in Pixel Vault. I had some pretty primo pieces and that were primo in 21, 22, and I'm fairly upset. I mean, whatever, what are you going to do? But yeah, I am very shocked. I don't understand. Well, that is one collapse. So TLDR, Andrew and Avery, I think Pixel Vault probably raised, I don't know how much they raised from their, they raised 9 figures. So they raised over $100 million in sales. Okay. And we're talking in 2 years. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So very quickly. And then proceeded to blow it all. They spent it on a game. They pivoted to doing a coin. And then I think the dude he spent it. I was always questioning it, and I got a little mad just out of jealousy. I'm okay to say that. They make 9 figures and he buys a $4.5 million house in Miami or something. Not that I need a $4 million house, but you're just God, just rolling in it, just the freedom of being able to kind of do it, or at least have it. But yeah, I think I don't have any inside information, but from what it sounds like, dude just has a serious gambling problem and spent it all, blew all tens of millions of dollars to the point where there's nothing in the treasury left and there's no product. And there's, 100 million plus, bro. 100 million. Forget dude. Eric July, all that kind of crap. That is nothing.
Dude, if adult fantasy blew up like that, we would all be set.
Yeah. Well, I know. Well, we would just be doing it forever. We would be able to produce whatever we wanted to produce. And that's the whole thing. We would be putting it to production. These guys were putting it to bigger games and metaverse and got to be the biggest, brightest thing. And it's really upsetting. It's really crazy. And here's a little inside baseball for MK. MK, I talked to Josh Blaylock a little bit, who we know Josh Blaylock. Andrew and Avery know Josh Blaylock from Devil's Due Publishing. I've spoken to Josh a few times. He's a nice dude.
I sat next to him at a con one time.
Yeah, he knows his shit. He's a good dude. But I don't know if anything's coming about it, but I know he was talking to Pixel Vault about taking over so they could do comics again and just maybe launching it as a comic company. So that's something. MK says that's why startups have a board. Without oversight, take heart. AF is still here. Yeah, man. That's it. Well, it's not just having a board. That's a super important thing, obviously. But it also goes to the heart of why you're doing the thing, right? It's one of the problems with investment when you're doing something like what adult fantasy does. The reason I don't feel like we're a good fit for pure VC, like a Series A or something, is because I don't think we're totally aligned with what VCs would want. Because, and I'm preaching to the choir with MK, but there's only 3 opportunities. There's only 3 things that a company does that has venture backing. You either IPO, so you're going public. You either sell the company and exit, so that's sort of like a win or like a break even, depending, or acqui-hire, depending on the level of exit, or you crash and burn and fail. And so what's happening is like all these companies that are fully invested, they're going so hard into these things, and in most things that's totally the right thing to do. It's not a problem. But with doing what we're doing with where you're launching characters and a universe and IPs, you can't force it. Like, we're building a brand. You can't force people to fall in love with your IP. You can't. And it doesn't matter how much money you have. You can't like building that love and getting people to fall in love with whatever it is that you're making. It takes time and it takes dedication. That's it. That's why you have indie guys like your Ethan Van Sciver's, people like that. They've raised $8.5 million over like 5 or 6 years, and they're on live streams every night. They're selling their thing every day. They're drawing the comics all the time. And now they have to do what they have to do. Their audience wants drama, so they talk about the drama and the bullshit. But that's like their audience is there because they've over time fallen in love with the property and with the person and with the team, right? The people in Comicsgate and that niche that are good, they're likable characters. They might be shoot off the hip, and they might say outrageous things, and they may cause drama. But at their core, in terms of a marketing branding standpoint, they are attractive characters. And so you've got this attraction where people are like, that guy's fucking funny. I get a sense of humor, right? And it doesn't, like, you're going to see, and we've witnessed it over 4 years, like since 2021, like one of the biggest problems that people have in the space. We're in the cutting edge of technology. And so people get a lot of money, they get a lot of funding, they go big and they go home, and we're going to see more of it. I mean, I have my own idea. I'm not even going to talk about who I think is not going to be here by the end of the next cycle, but I think most of them are not. I think it's going to be brutal because they're not building brands that people can fall in love with. In my opinion, they're trying to build AAA gaming companies. And I'm like, well, if you wanted to build a AAA gaming company, you don't put $100 million into it. You start with like a tiny game and try to get traction with it, and then fail and do another tiny game. Like, this is how big companies are made. Like, Blizzard didn't start with $100 billion company. They had to grind for 25 years. You know what I mean?
Dude, look at Vampire.
How many games, Avery, you would know this. How many games were there? And I'm not a gamer, but like, how many games did Rockstar put out before GTA?
I don't really remember. The first I ever heard of them was the first GTA, and it was a shitty game that people just liked because it was outrageous and fun, and it blew up. But it was a very little game.
That's right.
It didn't become the icon we know today and blow up and go insane until 3.
That's right. And if you look at all the indie creators who are making 7 and 8 figures, like, that's the way to do it. And just because you're a company and you have more powder to blow, like, it doesn't mean you're going to get.
It's how you lose millions of dollars.
Well, and I love, again, I'm not going to name any names because I actually like a lot of these people. Like, I do think there's like some really good people and some really strong teams. But the idea that you're going to speed run to be the biggest, baddest thing, I think. Can you make a lot of money that way? Absolutely. 100%. You can make a lot of money that way. Can you exit your company that way? Absolutely. You can sell your company for hundreds of millions of dollars and get rich and go home and be very happy. But that ain't how you build the next Disney, Marvel. All these people talking about Disney, Marvel crap, that is not how you do it. No one's going to be given 2 shits about these characters 5 years after you sell that company. No one gives a shit. And so, and it's because there's no sweat equity in building the thing. MK says, you should get their assets, different planets, different characters, different comic universes. Potential is there. The potential is there. I think the potential is not even in the art. Although Chris, what's his name? He's really good. Christopher Wall, who's the artist. He's done a lot of Marvel stuff, and I think Marvel and DC stuff. He's a good artist. I do think there's potential, but I think the potential's in the audience. And I guess the other thing, MK, that the thing that I've learned the hard way, and this is, you just learn it while you do it. and especially after talking to so many founders, I think there was and we've talked about it before a little bit, but like, I think there was a huge mistake made by most Web3 companies in 21 and 22. And I made it. I mean, we made it 100%, is that when the flood came in and we were all partying and doing like game nights and all movie nights and all kinds of stuff, which we're going to bring back, by the way. But when there was like a bigger crowd across all of the Discords and all of the audiences, every single founder that I talked to that has been honest with me, because I'm always honest with them. We all made the same mistake in thinking that we had fans, right? And we thought that because they said they were fans and they acted like fans and they were super excited. But what they were a fan of was the crypto side, which was money. And so when the money went away or the prices started to drop a little bit, that tide went out, right? Fortunately, we have awesome people like you. You stuck around, like for other people stuck around, and people will come back, and that is totally fine. But one of the lessons that we took away from it, or that I took away from it, is like, oh, okay, like, how do I explain this? When I first came into Web3 and we started doing adult fantasy, I thought it was like everything else, meaning like I was going to market it traditionally. I had funnels, I had email, like normal email sequences. I was treating it like an e-commerce thing. So I had like upsell videos, downsells, cross sells, emails. I had all that stuff. No one ever saw that. I never went live with it because I threw it all out, because when we launched, or like right before we launched, I said, okay, so I've got my funnel set up. I spent the time to do it. I know what I'm doing with this stuff because I'm smart. I got this. I've done this before. And then I went ahead and placed ads, and I did ads through Meta and all that, like I normally would. And my conversion was terrible. Like it was costing me $10 per lead, which is remarkably bad. And I was like, oh no, I'm like, is my copy bad? No, it was the audience. Obviously, like it took me a while, but I would learn, oh, crypto people do not like to be marketed to in this way. And so I had to throw out the whole playbook of what I knew and what I understood as digital marketing to figure out, okay, how do I address these new people? And for 2021 and 2022, it worked enough. But then when the tide went out, I said, okay, so, and this is, I swear to you, in my opinion, this is where all the companies, why you saw so many companies, like 75% tank, because they realized they couldn't pitch to people, the crypto people, in the normal way, meaning like the digital marketing ads way, because people hate ads in crypto. And they couldn't, the people left and they weren't necessarily fans. So now they're like, I can't market and I have no audience. And that's when you saw like people say, we're just going to launch a lot of stuff. We're going to launch this thing. We're launching this thing this week, and we're launching this thing next week. We've got the metaverse. We got this, that. This is why I refused to launch season 2. I was like, I'm not launching jack shit until I figure this stuff out. Like, I'm not like, could we maybe made some more money? Yeah, but this diminishing returns. And I was like, we're going to dilute the brand. We're going to burn the whole thing. I was like, no, we're not doing that. So it took time to figure out. That's why we did Web3 Comic-Con, to talk to other founders, to really get everything else kind of figured out. And what I've realized now, what I've come to realize is, and I think what a lot of founders in this space have realized, is that like in 2021, everyone put the technology first. It was, I mean, people were, it was all about the technology, all about about crypto, and kind of putting that first. Now you're seeing it get integrated more to where it's not necessarily in the background, but it's just a piece, not the whole thing. And what that means, what that opens up is like, okay, so what we're doing now is saying, okay, we're definitely on the blockchain. We love the technology. We're not going to ever stop doing blockchain collectibles. But there are also people who want physicals. Andrew was never going to buy a blockchain collectible. It's not going to happen. But he will buy comics and t-shirts. So, and maybe a plushie of Subdued. That's all I'm saying. Plushie of Subdued, plushie of Heinous, right here. That's what's going to happen.
I just want to interject. It sounds very similar to the .com crash in the late 90s.
Yeah. MK says can't have Stanwell coin, needs have bags pumped, must go moon. Yeah, I will tell you, we actually have a draft. Dusty and I came up, I wish he was here tonight too, but Dusty and I came up with a draft for Subcoin, for the Subdued coin. And I'm actually really I'll go ahead and tell you because we're not going to do it anytime soon. But basically, it's a coin that rugs itself. It's a declarative, like we're going to rug you. And so what it is, what the sub coin. If I say this, then people are going to steal it. So do I tell it? Well, you tell me. There's 3 people watching. Do I say it and risk?
Well,
no.
People watching is me, so.
I know. So let's just say this. I won't ruin it unless Dusty wants me to. But basically, it's subdued as a character. So he's a sub who's a sub. He likes punishment. So that has a baked-in mechanic inside the sub coin. If we ever launched a coin, it would probably be that. At least first, and maybe BAMF, but that for sure, because I don't know. We have to wait to see what the SEC regulations are. Can you declare? I mean, we've seen coins drop that say we're totally just going to take your money, and people are like, yeah, and they totally take their money. And I'm like, I think that might be legal. Like if you say everything you give me, we're just going to take. Now we wouldn't do that, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know, legal stuff. Yeah, MK though, I know bags need to go moon now. For real, it's painful, but at least BTC is an all-time high and ETH is at an all-time high. Altcoins next, yay. MK says I think that's how it works, anyways. I think it does. I think that's exactly how it works. praying to whatever god you choose. I think probably is the way to moon a token nowadays. Anyway, these guys don't know what the hell we're talking about. So, but yeah, Avery, I think what you were saying is probably like, MK says, politics aside, I think the Trump coin literally called itself a collectible. Well, yeah, they, oh God, I could tell you a story about that. I missed that. So obvious. But yeah, they're so open to coins and collectibles. I think there's already laws that say NFTs are not like everything you could possibly want. There's already a law that's either been stated publicly that they're working on or has been put in place. So I think in a couple I think by next year we're going to be so good. I'm so excited. Like thank God. I mean, again, politics aside, just for being in the space, like thank God. Is everything going to be perfect? No, of course not. But like, oh my God. Like, I mean, I knew people, and I'm sure you do too, MK. Like I had acquaintances who were going to jail. Like they were already being investigated by the SEC and they were scared to death. And these are not like criminals. They're just like people who were like who had contact, just like us, like contact your lawyer, you do all your due diligence before you launch anything. You're like, is this legal? I want to make sure it's legal. And they're like, yeah, no, this should be fine. And you're like, okay, we'll put it in terms of service and we'll launch this and that. And then the SEC is like, nah, we decided to make it not legal today, and it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. There's a lot of people who got hurt really bad by that. And, yeah, maybe there's a blessing in being really small. At least right now. But anyway, yeah, it is like, to Avery's point, though, it is a lot like the 90s. Like, it's a lot like the 90s. Avery, I've got a comic book thing for you.
Okay.
This is going to touch a little bit of politics, so I don't think MK will mind, but I am curious about what you guys think about this.
Uh-huh.
Have you heard about the hubbub about Bloodshot #1?
No. A new Bloodshot #1?
No.
There's a new Bloodshot #1, yeah. And it is let me blow this up here. It has caused a stir. I know we're gonna get in trouble for this, but I am genuinely curious about it. Valiant Comics responds to accusations of transphobia in Bloodshot #1.
Oh jeez.
So Valiant Comics responds to accusations of transphobia. So this is one panel from this week's Valiant Beyond Bloodshot #1, relaunched by this person and that person, has caused considerable concern. There's a lot of concern online, guys, for this one panel. It's one panel. but there's a lot of concern. The panel in question featuring the Assassin Bloodshot dealing with vampire communities and their spread in society, and reads as follows. Can you see this? Do I need to blow it up? Here. It says, there are kids who want to be bitten to become vampires because their favorite influencer says they are one. And parents who force their children into that irreversible change just to feel modern and believing that they'll be thankful for it when they grow up. That's it. Just by saying that. That's it. That's it.
Bloodshot's base, huh?
So I mean, of course you can imagine the outrage. Of course, immediately it must be talking about transgenderism.
Listen, the outrage is 12 weirdos on Twitter.
That's right, and of course, Valiant Comics had to do a statement that basically said, Alien Books and writer Mauro Mantella sincerely apologized for the harm. While the story takes place in a fictional world of vampires and cults, we understand that a specific line, blah, blah, blah. That was never the intention. The original line was written by an Argentinian creator and was unfortunately a cause of nuance being lost in translation.
Oh no, it was a direct swipe. It was a direct attack. It was absolutely 100% that. And I have no problem with it.
Yeah. It was obviously, I mean, the writer will never work again. And the artist might not either, because this is the way the world with them. I just want to say this. Here's my problem. And again, the politics aside, it's so hard to talk about the fun things because everyone's like so fucking sensitive. Adult fantasy, though, I don't give a fuck. Like at the end of the day, you got to talk about this stuff because like we're adults. We deserve to have an actual conversation about this. Like, all the stuff we can't talk about anymore drives me nuts. Let me just say this. Like, I have watched, having worked at Marvel and having done all this stuff, I have watched dozens and dozens and dozens and hundreds of books come out with completely inflammatory things against Jews, against Israel, pro-Muslim, anti-right, anti-conservative, all of it, right? And I don't have a problem with any of it. I really don't. I mean, some of it's bad writing is bad writing. You know what I'm saying? But the shoe falls on both sides. You know what I'm saying? Except it doesn't. We all know it doesn't, because this is mainstream comics and it's fully, you can't say things. I think this is great. I think it's great because I think it actually it does what a comic is supposed to do. It kind of without being direct, they're not saying, trans people are vampires. They're using a modern discussion point from news and implementing it in sort of like a vampire lifestyle, which I think is cool. Like, that makes a lot of sense to me, Now, if it was a whole book about this, maybe you're taking it a little too far and you want to get off your damn horse. But I don't have any problem with this. I was like, that's actually kind of cool. Like, that makes sense. Like, I'd love to see a story about parents kind of pushing their kids into a vampire lifestyle because they think it's like the right thing to do. Like, that sounds like a cool story to me. Am I wrong?
Well, Todd, I don't know if you remember this, but a few years ago, when they were doing a reboot of Batgirl, there was an issue where she actually went up against an actual transgender villain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that. And
that was, I mean, there was a lot of flack over that as well, but
there wasn't any flack about it. They were, well, it depends on what corner we think there was flack.
Well, the thing is, though, is that there were a lot of people who were complaining about it, and and the thing is, the people who were writing that and drawing that were typical typical progressives, but they kept working, and they kept writing. I mean, but I guess that's because they're part of the tribe. But
that's right. I mean, well, that's big. That's the other big problem is I would guess honestly, unfortunately, this writer who might not know any. I mean, genuinely speaking, it might just be a lost in translation thing. Who knows? But either way, they're not going to be on the next issue of the book. Like, they're 3 issues ahead on writing or something. Their contract is ending as we speak. Avery, Andrew, what do you guys think?
It's one of those things that I don't care, because I don't care about the mainstream industry at all anymore.
Yeah.
I actually, if they look over there, it's only because I want to watch them burn.
Right. I mean,
because they're so, again, look at their retraction. They're so self-destructive.
Oh yeah.
I don't have a problem with what they did, because other points of view, you can say the most insane things in those books and they'll defend it.
Oh, well, they're totally bending the knee. I mean, they're like, it was out of context. They're saying the dialogue in question would be updated for all digital and collected editions to better reflect the intended fictional context. Going forward, all scripts will undergo a more intense review by our proofreaders as part of our editorial process. Yeah. We appreciate the feedback from peers. We take this seriously, and we're going to learn from it. Alien Books values inclusion, empathy, and creative responsibility. We will do better. Like that's a full blown thing. But
whatever, bending the knee. They're doomed. Yeah. This book is doomed. Bloodshot's never gone over very well. The Barry Windsor Smith cover stuff is fantastic. The character design's not bad. Some of the art's actually been good. It's just no one cares about these characters.
Yeah, I mean the art looks great. It's pretty cool. I wish, I mean, this is honestly, we're talking about like AI and Web3 and all that stuff tonight. Like, I think that's one of the reasons why I'm so attracted to it, is because, I know that's one of the reasons why I was attracted to it, because it doesn't matter what you fucking say. Meaning, like, if you want to be pro this or pro that or anti this or anti that, you absolutely can. It doesn't mean that anyone's going to buy it. The market's going to decide, but it should decide on the story and the context. This company now, this notice, this mea culpa means, like, I mean, you can read this letter and you can imagine the screaming matches that went on in the office.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, I mean, I'm a little more like, can't we all just get along? Like, it's so stupid. Like, so what if it's a one panel? Like, if you don't like it, or you think it's transphobic, you know what? Don't buy the book. Like, this is the same thing they say with everything else. Like, oh, you think, when Iceman was beating up like Trump supporters in the comics, it's like, okay, I won't buy it. Like, the art was bad and the story looks stupid. Like, if the art and story has been cool, I don't care who's beaten up. Like, let's go. But it's really just like on one side. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's
this
really
just like this fun. Book was doomed anyway. But even without this book was doomed. These Valiant characters, how many times have they relaunched them? No one cares.
Well, yeah, I agree. Well, I remember Kelly Sue DeConnick. I guess you heard of her, right?
Yes, she's a menace.
Yeah, she's definitely done. She's basically she's like the reverse Midas when it comes to comic book. Everything she touches turns to shit. But I remember a few years ago, back when she was still considered a hot, when she was like the new flavor of the month. People were complaining even then about the quality of her writing, and she basically said, "You don't like my politics, you don't like my books, don't buy my books." And
right, and people stop buying her books.
yeah, but you got to wonder though, the powers that be of Marvel were probably pulling their hair out, saying, because it's weird. I look back on Marvel in the 2010s and the 2020s, in the 20 teens, and I'm thinking to myself, and I think that is. That's like a textbook case of a company blowing a massive marketing opportunity, because when the movies are doing so well, their movies are doing so well, and yet they didn't take advantage of the movies. When Thor came out, Thor in the comic books was a woman. It was Jane Foster. I think that was around the time of that storyline. And when like Captain Marvel was basically an androgynous thing, and I'm thinking, and the movies the movies followed, you know, they weren't woke, at least not in the beginning. The comics were, and I remember thinking to myself, you know, do they even care about the comics? I mean, obviously the answer was no. I mean, it was just the comics were just a lost leader for Disney and Warner's, and of course that's not the case anymore. But actually, I'm getting off topic. But the point I want to bring up is that with Bloodshot, I never really read it. I mean, I remember when it came out. It was like that was a '90s title, right? Like one of those titles came out in the '90s. Was it earlier? Was it later? I mean, it was like it's felt like a '90s character, you know, kind of like, you know, dark and edgy. But I remember reading that back in the '70s and the '80s, you know, if you were given like an obscure title, like say Shang-Chi, or Iron Fist, or whatever, you know, like a character that really didn't have a following, and you were just kind of like toss that book and say, here, here's Captain whatever, do what you can with it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They would do that,
yeah.
And you could basically do whatever you want and do some pretty freaky stuff, and no one in Marvel didn't care because they were just, you know, they're basically, if it wasn't Spider-Man or Batman, they just didn't give a shit.
That's
I mean,
right.
people. I mean, of course, back then the Marvel Comics was basically on the verge of disappearing forever. So they probably figured out who cares.
Mm-hmm. Let me show you. I got something else for you.
I mean, there was some pretty weird back in the '70s and '80s. There were some pretty fucked up, pardon my language, pretty messed up storylines that kind of passed by the radar. No one raised a peep about it.
Todd, I have a comic that I put aside for you that you've probably never, ever seen before.
Okay, show it.
It was a 4-issue series from
Marvel. Can I put you on screen? You have it with you?
That's fine. Yeah.
Nope. Yeah. I've got a character design question for you next.
It's from 1993. It's called Curse of the Weird.
That's cool. I've never heard of it. Wait, 1993?
Yes. And it reprints, I think it reprints old.
Oh, cool.
Stories. Like that's a Steve Ditko one.
That's a Ditko.
But this is very much type of stuff that's up your alley.
Oh yeah, dude. That's where adult fantasy is.
I've never seen this issue before. I have never seen this before in my life. It's not worth anything, but it's definitely like Todd fodder.
Hell yeah. I like Todd fodder.
So yeah,
the Todd fodder.
Let's
go. Awesome, man. Thank you. I got a design question for you guys. Let's see. So Marvel confirms Philip Kennedy Johnson and Nick Klein's Infernal Hulk #1. If you don't know, Philip Kennedy Johnson, I think I've seen some of his writing. I think he did the Hulk one, the last Hulk series. With Immortal, was it not Immortal Hulk? Whatever the one was with Nick Klein as well. So Nick Klein,
just regular Hulk was what it was
Hulk.
called.
I think it was Incredible Hulk. Yeah. So Nick Klein is awesome. I think as an artist, he's so good. I'm going to share one of these things. So let me see if I blow this up there. Yeah. Let's see if I can. It won't let me get bigger. Can you see this okay?
Mm-hmm.
But like basically, so all you have to do is you can kind of see it. His style is very, very detailed. It's a lot of brush work. He's a painter, man. He's a master painter. He's really good. And he does the whole cover. So what he actually does the color. The color, this is actually hand painted. So it's not digital. It's pen and ink and brush and like gouache or watercolor. He's really, really freaking good. Anyway, point is that they are starting a new Hulk thing called Infernal Hulk #1. I don't know why. I don't know why they don't just continue with the Incredible Hulk. Probably just because of #1 bump sales. Because I think they're on number 30 of Incredible Hulk now. Anyway, what they're doing is they're giving Nick Klein his own Incredible Hulk. So it's a new Incredible Hulk design, and I wanted to share the design and kind of get your opinion on it. Let's see if I can. You guys see it okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I know it's hard. I thought I could get it a little.
Honestly,
there we go. There we go.
It's not going to last that long. They'll go back to the classic green Hulk eventually.
Yeah. What do you think? Here's my thing.
Like Wolverine with claws that are on fire, or heated claws, or whatever. It didn't last very long.
Yeah, I mean, here's what I think. I think it's interesting. His chest is all messed up, like it's purposely like off. Like his anatomy is off. It's like two Hulks combined together. If you know, it's hard to tell, but it looks like it's two different colors.
Yeah, I can see that.
So it looks like it's a stitched together Hulk. I will say the thing that's been really cool about this run is that it's or the Incredible Hulk run is that it's they definitely leaned more into the horror aspect, like Immortal Hulk. Immortal Hulk, they leaned into the horror aspect of the Incredible Hulk, and this kind of continued that. And I love that angle for the Incredible Hulk. Like it makes so much sense that it's like this just twisted bodies, and it's almost like it's very Hellboy-esque. They basically were like, well, what if the Incredible Hulk was mixed with Hellboy? And it's like demons and just giant monsters. It's really cool, and terrifyingly good art. Like really crazy monsters. But yeah, I think I looked at the design originally and I was like, man, this design really sucks. But now that I'm seeing that it's two different characters kind of bonded together with the green in the middle, I'm thinking that it might actually work. And it might actually work more for the Frankenstein because they lean more into the monster side of things. I think it might actually like make sense a little more because because they're leaning into like the demonology and the Hellboyness, well then why don't you have your main character be more like Frankenstein, right? Like it's like that's already like that. It's like Frankenstein versus the werewolf or something. That's pretty much how the comics are run. So anyway, I wanted to share. I want to see if you had an opinion on it.
Immortal Hulk ended up going for like 50 issues.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see this going more than 12.
Yeah, I'm sure.
There's nothing about this that makes me want to buy a Hulk issue. Even though Nick Klein's art is awesome.
Nick Klein is amazing.
Nothing about this design that makes me want to rush out and buy it.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to wait and see, but it just looks like a different color Hulk. You know, it's not like Red Hulk was interesting because it was red, but
and who it turned out to be.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, I'm not buying it. And there's too many Hulks. There's too many variations of Banner turning into different Hulks. I don't. If I want Incredible Hulk, I'll just buy an old back issue.
Have you guys, Andrew, and this is maybe an Andrew thing, have you seen all of the variant covers for Deadpool versus Batman coming up?
I've seen a lot of them, but yeah, that's all it is. That's like when Batman crossed over with Spawn. It was just nothing but variants.
It is insane. Here, I'm going to share you something.
There's an indie film some guy did on YouTube years ago that's pretty good.
So let me just share for Avery. So here's my takeaway before I even show you this thing. I think Marvel and DC have really fucked up. I think they messed up big time with this because I think they could have made this like a whole yearly, a year-long thing. I think this would have been great as a year-long push. And the fact that it's not a year-long push, honestly, they're just trying to like do a money grab with it, and they showed that they don't really give a shit about the characters. So this is Batman Deadpool #1. Now, there's going to be 2 books, is my understanding, right, Andrew? There's Batman and Deadpool, and there's Deadpool and Batman, and it's going to be Marvel and DC, or is it 1 book with 2 different titles, and they're both selling it? Do you know?
I don't know for sure. I haven't really looked into it enough, but there being 2 different titles does not surprise me. One gets published by Marvel and one gets published by
DC. Now, I think it might be the same. I think it's either 2 issues. I don't remember. It's like number 1 and number 2. Like this is going to last like 2 months. Like this is not a big thing. This is like, and it's done by Capullo. So they did good in getting like Greg Capullo is phenomenal. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But look at this shit, bro. Look at this. So you've got the this is the DC site. So this is just okay. So from my understanding, this is DC site. So this is just the DC side. Okay. This is not the Marvel side. This is the DC side. So you've got your Capullo cover, right? Here we go. Let's see if I can. Oh, I can't blow these up right here. I can. There you go. So it's all of the DC people with like their supposed Marvel counterparts, right? You're like, okay, so we got 4. There's 4 covers. That's Lee Bermejo, I think. So that's 5, 6, 7. Right? You got your Chang, I think. There's your 8 cover from DC. There's Storm and Wonder Woman. Like that would be a cool standalone comic. Like why can't they do Batman versus Punisher again? Like that's cool, right? Robin and Gambit. None of these characters are actually going to be in the books, by the way. This is not covers. These are just variant covers. Look at this Jay Lee, what's her name? Big Barda and Rogue. Like, yeah. Oh, so cool. A Jim Lee, Wolverine, and Batman. I'm going to come back and talk about this in just a second.
You better hurry up. It's already after 10.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Look at this. That's a great image. I don't know who did that, but that's fantastic.
Yeah, like a Batman and a Wolverine crossover coming for real. That would be dope. That would be awesome.
Here's your Sean Gordon Murphy cover. You've got your Frank Quietly cover. I'm going to go through these really quick. A blank cover. You got your Adam Hughes. I think, is that Adam Hughes?
No.
I don't know. Whoever that is. That doesn't look like Adam Hughes.
It's like Gillian March.
Yeah, it's probably Gillian March. And so you've got all these covers. And like, first of all, I got to say, this is actually a really bad Jim Lee cover. Like I was really surprised. It's not very good. But regardless, it's Jim Lee drawn Wolverine and Batman. That should be the comic. Like if that was the comic, like it would sell. If it was like X-Men versus Batman, like come on, dude. Like they just don't get it. Like I'm like, oh my god, it should have been this. It should have been this. Anyway, I wanted to share this and kind of get your thoughts. What do you think, Andrew, as a retailer? Did he freeze? Andrew?
Oh, sorry, I missed what you said.
Jesus Christ. I asked you what you thought about the covers.
I really don't care.
Really?
I'll be honest with you. Somebody will eventually trade in some to me, and then I'll have some. I currently have like 5 or 6 different versions of Batman Spawn in my store. I did not buy a single one of them. They got traded in because somebody had them and said, I don't care about these anymore.
Yeah.
Is it the old one or the new one?
The new one.
Golly. Yeah. I don't know. I just think that it really shows me that they don't care about the story anymore. You're going to have 2 issues, but you're going to have 50 variant cover. Like nobody cares about the story.
You'll have more than that in the long run because they allow stores to do their own variants. You can pay Marvel or DC to have an issue. You can commission a variant, and I think the minimum order is 1,000 copies.
You can pay Marvel to have your own variant?
Yep. For your own store.
Wow. And so you think they're going to do that for this kind of thing? They absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
some of the big stores, the really big ones like in New York and stuff, yeah, they will, because I think they regularly do that.
Do you know how many issue or how many variants comicpriceguide.com lists for Star Wars #1 from Marvel? 81. And that's not all of them. That's just the ones they have listed. There are
Well, it makes sense because you're licensing it. So what they're going to do is they're going to charge the stores like $10,000 because they have to pay the artist and colorist and do the printing and then make a hefty profit on that. And you get your logo on it, so you're licensing. So if they get, they'll make $1 million just off of the stores putting their name on it. 81 covers, right? I mean, you're talking at least $500,000 from stores who want their name next to Star Wars.
Yep.
God, that just drives me nuts, dude. Anyway, I just wanted to bring this to you. I try to bring you good stuff every week.
That's good. I had not seen all those, but yeah, I know it's going to be a crap show when it happens.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed because I saw the Jim Lee cover, and one, it wasn't his best, and like he's still fantastic. So I was like, really, you phoned that one in? But whatever. And then like, it should be an all-year event. Like each one of those should be a book.
Okay.
Each one of them should be a book.
Yeah. No.
And I'm saying that as a publishing, like that you should pick the top ones and make those books. Like some of those are really good ideas. Anyway, I love you guys. Happy Friday.
Yes, absolutely.
You guys are going to have a good weekend? Got a lot of stuff planned?
Just editing and trying and probably learn how to write a longboard.
Awesome. I got one note because I totally forgot to update adult fantasy shit because I'm so good at this. We got 3 episodes in the can. The new website is pretty much designed. It's pretty much done. I have a little bit of tweaking to do to it. This week I focused on the onboard email sequence. It's going to be super fun. We're going to be doing basically it's going to be like a choose your own adventure email sequence. I'm super excited about it. Way more excited about it than I should be for an email sequence, but it's pretty cool. Next up, this weekend I'm going to start like pushing that into the email automation stuff and get all that stuff set up. Get the newsletter set up, and then we should be ready to rock and roll. So a little bit of time left. I'm still trying to hit the end of August deadline that I have for myself. That's unofficial, official. We're getting there. So very soon. That's what I got. Anyway, love you guys. Take care. Have a great weekend. MK, thank you so much, brother, for coming out as always, man. Hope we don't say anything to offend. I know we go into politics a little bit, but you should know by now we don't give a shit. We try to be nice, but sometimes you just gotta talk about the shit. Anyway, love you all, and all right, guys, talk to you soon. See you next week. Peace out. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Love you.
Bye.